the Raiders are screwed. The Raiders are screwed. There are very few teams with bleaker futures right now than the one that is not so bright in Las Vegas. Because the biggest reason why I'm so down right now on the Raiders' future is that they as an organization are failing to understand what's led them to this awful season. They made the move yesterday to bench Derek Carr. That benching of Derek Carr to me signifies that they believe the person who's most responsible for this bad down failure of a season is the quarterback. And so by benching Derek Carr, it's not just for 2 games here. They're benching Derek Carr with the intention of moving on for him this offseason. So the Raiders are telling you, Derek Carr's the problem. We're going to move on from, quote-unquote, the main problem. And we're going to trust Josh McDaniels to turn this franchise around and lead them back to the playoffs and build them up to be a Super Bowl contender. That's flawed logic. Because for me, the biggest reason why the Raiders are where they are right now, and the biggest reason why they failed this season, it's the head coach, it's Josh McDaniels. Like, let me ask you this. You look at the Raiders, they're sitting there at 6-9 this season. They were a playoff team last year, an embarrassment this year. Who is more responsible for the regression in Vegas? Is it Josh McDaniels, the head coach, or is it Derek Carr, the quarterback? Because last time I checked, when you look at the track record of Josh McDaniels, when you look at just the quarterback being there last year, leading the team to the playoffs, I think it's absolutely the head coach. And the Raiders failing to recognize that, failing to identify that it's more the head coach and the quarterback, it gives me zero reason to believe this team is going to figure it out anytime soon and get back on the winning track. McDaniels is an awful head coach. This is a guy who does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. Right? This is a guy who's shown you in the 15 games so far in his second go-around, he has not learned anything from his first trial in Denver. All the concerns, all the areas we were told he's improved in, he's matured, he's learned from, they're flaring up again in Vegas. I can't see a real difference between Josh McDaniels in Denver and Josh McDaniels right now in Las Vegas. He does not seem like he's grown whatsoever. So he, to me, does not deserve the benefit of the doubt to think that, oh, he'll turn it around or he needs a little more time. Can I get this train rolling? He doesn't deserve a year number 2 in Vegas. He should be a one and done. He absolutely should be a one and done. Because he's not shown that he's been able to learn, that he's actually a good coach whatsoever. The guy is 17-26 in his head coaching career. But if you take away now, which absolutely looks like a fluke, that 6-0 start in Denver in year number 1 a decade ago, he's just 11-26 in his last 37 games as head coach. And when you look at where the Raiders are and what Josh McDaniels accomplished, again, the Raiders, or didn't accomplish, I should say, the Raiders last year were a playoff team, right? You had the entire John Gruden scandal. He's fired. Rich Bisaccia takes over early on in the year. This team gets off to a slow start. They find their way, kind of galvanize together, and make what felt like an improbable run to the playoffs last year. So then you hire Josh McDaniels. You say, Rich, thanks, but no thanks. We're going to move on from you. We're going to hire Josh McDaniels. He's supposed to take us over the top here, be this offensive guru. So you pair Josh McDaniels with a playoff team from last year. You add one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in Devontae Adams. You add Chandler Jones on the defense side of the football as well to give this team even more talent than the playoff team they had last year. And all of that, playoff team, add a great receiver, add a great defensive end, has equaled what? A 6-9 season with losses to Jeff Saturday making his head coach debut. And we have seen Jeff Saturday, since that game in Vegas, be an awful head coach. There's no doubt about it. If you want to include Jeff Saturday in the pool of head coaches, this year he is the worst head coach in the NFL, without a doubt. Even in a short 6-game stint, he's terrible. But McDaniels found a way to lose to him. He found a way to lose to Baker Mayfield, who was in LA for, at that point, like 40 hours. He was signed on Tuesday, started Thursday somehow, or not started, I should say. Started the first series, then played the entire game after that. Led a 98-yard drive to win the game. He beat McDaniels. And look, overall, 4 of the 9 losses to the Raiders have come when the Raiders have held a double-digit halftime lead. They've done so 5 times this year, have a double-digit halftime lead. The Raiders are 1-4. Think about how hard that is to do and how few adjustments and how bad of an adjustment maker you must be to have 5 double-digit halftime leads this season, lose 4 of them, and the one game you won, The only game where you had a halftime lead of double digits or more and won the game was the Patriots game, in which you blew that lead in the second half. You allowed New England to tie the game. You were going to go to overtime until maybe the dumbest play ever in the NFL history happened, where Jacoby Myers flips the ball back, intercepted by Chandler Jones, touchdown, as we know, game over. So outside of one of the flukiest endings in NFL history we've ever seen, Josh McDaniels has never won a game in which he's led by double digits at halftime this year. So why should the Raiders, why should Mark Davis, hell, why should anyone with a brain actually believe that Josh McDaniels is given a chance is going to turn this Raiders team around and get them back again to Super Bowl expectations, which is why he was hired in the first place to do so? I have no reason to believe it. He was labeled as an offensive guru. We know New England's had a lot of success. I think now we're starting to see a lot of that success in New England on offense. It was more Tom Brady than Josh McDaniels. Because the quote-unquote offensive guru took over for Derek Carr, which Derek Carr's not a great quarterback, but he's solid to really good, right? He's in that, let's say 10 to 13 range. Where he's not elite, but again, you could do a whole hell of a lot worse than Derek Carr quarterback. Derek Carr last year versus Derek Carr this year. Let's just quickly take a very quick stat breakdown. Last year, again, we had all the shuffling of John Gruden getting fired early on, Rich Bisaccia coming in, not having Devontae Adams last year. Derek Carr last year completed 68% of his passes. This year, with a supposed offensive guru in McDaniels and having one of the best wide receivers in the NFL and Devontae Adams, his completion percentage dropped from 68 to 60. That 60.8, to be exact, completion percentage is the lowest for Derek Carr since his rookie year. Okay, not good. What other stats? Maybe there's some other ones we can point to and say, it'll be better. 4,800 passing yards last year, just over, versus 3,500 this year. So again, offensive guru who wants to throw the ball a lot. Derek Carr, a lot fewer yards thrown for this year compared to last year. Had a 94 passer rating last year. Again, with all the chaos going on, no Devontae Adams, 94 passer rating last year. This year, dropped to 86, which, similar to his completion percentage, is the lowest since his rookie year, and Derek Carr has thrown 14 interceptions, leads the league this season. Derek Carr, despite having John Gruden for 5 games, Rich Bisaccia as the special teams coordinator taking over as head coach after that, Derek Carr had a better year last year with all that chaos going on without one of the best wide receivers in the NFL compared to this year. Is that Derek Carr not playing well, or is that coaching? For me, that's coaching. That's absolutely coaching. McDaniels is unable to develop Derek Carr's game whatsoever. And so now I have no reason to believe whatever quarterback you bring in there, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, quarterback in the draft, you can go down any list you want. I don't believe, and I don't think there's going to be a reason to believe, that McDaniels will have success with that quarterback when he just totally tanked Derek Carr's career in the 1 year that they had together in Vegas. So when you add it all up, I just don't think there's a lot of success here for Josh McDaniels and a lot of success for the Raiders moving forward. So I think they're screwed. Siding with the head coach over the quarterback is not identifying the real problem with this team. Derek Carr, could you upgrade? Yes. Is he a guy that's going to win you a Super Bowl? No. But he is far from the first problem in Vegas. If you truly want to get back to that playoff path, truly get back on your way to being a Super Bowl contender, I am for sure moving off Josh McDaniels a whole hell of a lot earlier than I am from Derek Carr. So that's, for me, that's a massive mistake. That's why I am so down on the future of the Raiders. Entrusting Josh McDaniels to turn this around is a failed experiment, and it is frankly stupid. It is stupid. So congrats to you, Mark Davis. You have screwed the Raiders' future. Happy holidays to you. Enjoy the new year.